The man with the plan. The man with the plan. All right, man. We live and back in full effect for another episode of the APF podcast, episode 134. It is I, the most phenomenal man that shocked the system, aka the coach. And it's your boy going forward. I hope you guys enjoying your day. Get ready for the weekend. Let's get into it. So, for, so first things first, as usual. Like a like a minute or two ago, I seen Shaq, one of the most top tier big men of all time. I seen a little minute segment of him talking about the Lakers, right? So he goes say asks who's the 1-2 punch on the Lakers. He got a response saying LeBron and AD. And he says he hears LeBron stats, but he hasn't really heard much of AD, which is also true. So, and then he also says that Russell Westbrook isn't the problem. Now that is a that is a majority is not it's a 50-50 with that one in my opinion, because even though he's consistent, even though he's on the court all the time, and even though he gives you what AD cannot give you, it's the turnover factor, the decision making. That's really the one flaw Westbrook has in his shooting. Those are the main flaws he has. But AD, he just can't stay on the court to save his fucking life. It's just a problem with big men. This is a problem with big men in this era now. Back then, the big men were like all there. They were there most of the time. Now you have like AD, who's always gone, Joel Embiid, who wasn't there for like the first part of his career. So I want to know what you think about what Shaq said.
What did Shaq say?
He said that he hasn't really heard much of AD all year, and it's not. And him and LeBron aren't really a 1-2 punch if the one is producing more stats than the two. And he said Westbrook isn't the problem in LA.
Well, I think the first problem is that, well, AD has not played well this year, and AD was really supposed to become the one to the two of LeBron, but LeBron has not had to go back to being the one again. And we know that even before the injury, Anthony Davis has not played well at all this year. Really don't understand what has happened. It just looks to be maybe he's not regressing. Maybe he's hit the wall right now in his career. He's only 20 years old, and he really should be carrying this team. He should really be giving you Anthony Davis from New Orleans 27, 27 points, 13 rebounds, but he's unable to. But the problem is that they have a quarterback, as I call him in Westbrook, who gives no care about how many turnovers he has. He always leaves his feet when he throws a ball. I understand about everybody else, but the number one issue is Westbrook. I still think Westbrook is the main problem, and that if they got any kind of normal, average level, point guard of today's NBA, they'll be better off. Westbrook, I get it. He's amazing. He plays hard, but he's not efficient. He turns the ball over at a very high rate, and he makes horrible decisions all the time. He has some issue with leaving his feet when he's passing the ball. He's always leaving his feet. And so when you leave your feet, it makes it easier. Why it makes it easier for people to catch you? Because when you leave your feet, there's a little bit of time where people can set up. First play of the game, he goes down the court against the Spurs, down the middle. He jumps up and what's his name? Johnson, number 3 on the Spurs, Keldon Johnson. He puts his hands up. Oh, here's the basketball in his hands. Westbrook, 2-on-1 with LeBron, throws it up. Turnover, doesn't throw it high enough. Derek White catches it. Throws another turnover. He turned the ball over trying to lob it to Dwight Howard. He has no conscience about all the turnovers he does all the time. LeBron's the only guy who's played consistently well. If you saw LeBron, he scored 36 points last night. They lost by almost 30 points because it does not matter how well he plays. That team is just really, really bad at basketball. They don't play perimeter defense, and they don't play defense. You've got DeAndre Jordan getting chewed up, Dwight Howard getting chewed up by LeBron for not being a rim protector. Then you could say Dwight Howard could chew him out, say you can't stay in front of nobody, you or anybody else. Avery Bradley is gone, and he's your best perimeter defender. He's not even that great. You've got people saying, "Look at Austin Reeves, he's gone. He's a undrafted rookie that made one clutch shot." Okay, that team clearly needs a makeover. And I've said that there is no way Westbrook is going off that team. He makes too much money to get off that team. So they're going to have to keep him. Look, they're right now they're a game under 500. They're right at the precipice of the play-in, basically. They're in the play-in. They're going to be a playing team all year, and that's what they are. They're going to be that team that's a playing team. And yes, they could lose the playing game this year. And if that happens, then you're really going to have some big changes. But, last night they had Bates Diop go 11 for 11 for 30 points off the bench. No issue. I mean, those are the type of things that Lakers have it. And no, I don't agree with Shaq. I think Russ is the problem, but he's the biggest problem. But the other secondary problem is Anthony Davis has been very pedestrian this year, unable to figure out what he needs to do. Maybe Westbrook's part of that, but I think he's a little bit wrong with.
Both of them scored 66 points and they still lost.
Yeah, they scored like 20 points one game and they lost. So it's a problem, and I don't think it's just Westbrook, but he's probably the biggest problem. But the secondary problem is that LeBron's getting no help from AD. That's who he really needs help from, more than anybody else.
Well, you can't get help from someone who can't stay healthy. That's what it comes down to. It comes down to you being accountable for your own health. And I mean, it's pretty hard. It's pretty hard to be consistent and be the one, or it's not even more, and be the two to the one of that 1-2 punch and stay healthy. So we're just gonna see what's gonna happen, because all I know is I know for sure he might not make it the All-Star game based on how many games he's missed. So
Yeah, he might not. Well, what do we have here?
So I guess which list are we? We're gonna
This
do
list we both have, which is the what's it called? The NBA list. So I will start. Number one, we've got Golden State. They had they played last night. They have a 26-6 record. Steph Curry just went for 47 points. I'm sorry, 46 points, 8-14 from three, total 12 from the line. Their team has been very good, and this is a team that I've said before is a quintessential way to rebuild your team with a superstar. You have a couple bad years with the superstar. He gets hurt. Maybe he's not playing well. They go into lottery. They get multiple lottery picks, and then you rebuild a team with players that fit your system. And Golden State has guys that fit in their system. Their net rating is a plus 10.5, which I believe is either the second or highest in the NBA. This is probably they are the best team by a very small margin to my number 2 team, but they play well against Memphis. Memphis has beat them the last couple times in big games. And for them to hold John Morant to under 25 points, and for Steph to score over 46 with the defense they're playing, getting help from Gary Payton III without Wiggins and Poole, that's a big one for that team, and just shows the depth that they've acquired this year.
My number one is the Suns. They're the best in the conference, and they have shown that even though they have took a defeat in the finals, that they are showing that they can. They are showing that they are that team to beat, and like I said, they had a pretty handsomely easy schedule. They beat the Thunder last game. They beat my team, and then they beat the Hornets. They beat Wizards, and they beat the Blazers. So it's like I predicted a week ago that they have a very easy schedule, and the only team that they had a challenge was the Clippers. So I feel that they won the game when they won the games they're supposed to win, and the games that they lost, it's not going to be too bad. So that is my number one.
Okay, so obviously my number two team will be the Phoenix Suns. They're my number two team. They started season 1-3. They have been 25-2 since then, only losing to I believe Golden State and one other team. I'm not sure who they lost to in that time, but they've been well. Their net rating is a +76, not as high as Golden State and Utah, but been fine. They've blown out their last three opponents by average of probably like 20 points with the 18 and 31 point win and 12.1 of the Thunder, probably average of like 20, 25, 20, 24 points. They beat the Wizards, who are a good team. They beat the Blazers, who are kind of been low, but still a team that does play well. They beat the Clippers. Look, they just had some impressive, wins over the coming weeks, and they only lost to Golden State, obviously. So, they average over 100 points. They hold you to usually around 100. Chris Paul's having another All Star, possible MVP season. He's going to be in the running for he's a first team All Pro on first team All NBA, but same thing. They're all the same anyways. I mean, they could say whatever. But first team All NBA, probably second team. If Steph continues out the season he's having, he'll probably be first team. But he for sure right now is my second team All NBA point guard. No questions asked. He's the second best point guard in the NBA behind Steph. But yeah, this team is well-oiled machine. Their defense is elite. Their offense moves the ball around, and he's unlocked DeAndre Ayton and made him really, a top 5 big man in this league. So they're my number 2 team.
So my number two team is going to be the Warriors. They, even though they're 26-6, second team in the league, they're they're firing all cylinders. Curry dropped a nice 47 on the Grizzlies. Okay, even though the Grizzlies put up like a decent fight, but both teams had the Grizzlies had three players who scoring 20 points or more, and the Warriors just had literal dog shit. Nobody helped out other than Gary Payton and Steph Curry the whole time. But that looks like it was enough for them to win. And all I have to say is that they got blown out by the Raptors, that should have never happened.
Whoa. When
But
when you don't put any of your starting 3, 4 best players, what do you expect is going to happen?
oh shit, no wonder.
I mean, there is no Steph, no Draymond. Wiggins was out with an injury. Poole was out from health and safety protocols. They rested like Otto Porter. Like they had nobody on that team. They were just a bunch. They just put their bench out there, and that was it. That's why that game was such a blowout.
Damn. Well, no one really. But that's still my number two team, even though they still got that ass whooped, regardless.
Okay, keep saying it. Okay. Either way, obviously, my number 3 team is the third West team, who I believe is the third best team in the NBA. Utah Jazz, net rating right under the Warriors, 10.4. They have three. They have the top 3 two man. They have the top 3 and 4 of the top 5 2-man lineups in the league. What does that mean? They have a very good starting lineup, very good starting 5 that is elite. And that also says that their bench players that they bring in with those lineups are playing at a high level as well. They have a very good offensive rating this year. Their defense is not as good, but if they can continue to show this offense, that can more than make up for it against some of these top teams. And also they do shoot the 3 a lot because that's what teams do. You got to shoot the 3 some extent. and they do it well. I'm very happy for them. They've played well this coming week. Donovan Mitchell continues to showcase why this guy is a future MVP contender. I really do think so. One of these years, he's going to be in the MVP conversation. But Mike Conley's playing well. Rudy Gobert's playing well. That team is going nice. And Jordan Clarkson, they have the I guess 2 years ago the sixth man of the year. Was he sixth man of the year last year?
Who for Jordan?
Uh, Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah, he was the sixth man last year.
Yeah, so they have the reigning sixth man of the year on their team. So they should be they're a juggernaut. So yeah, there you go.
So my number third team is I don't want to say New Jersey Nets, the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah.
Right now they're the best in their conference, and you got a beast named Kevin Durant just doing it all, man. That man is literally breaking his back for this damn team, and they came up short against the sorry ass Magic, even though they had Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge. So, I mean, there's nothing obviously bad to say about the team. Only good things, and right now they're showing that they can, even without Kyrie being there, they can show that they can really lead the charge and make the playoffs and make the finals. And they have a big test against the Lakers, which I probably think that they will probably smack the ass up, but you never know. You never know, man.
Oh, there's no Kevin Durant that game, so we'll see.
Well, we'll see. Hopefully, we can finally win. We can finally be the big team for once.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully that does happen. All right, we're on number 4.
Yeah.
Number 4 for me will then be actually the Brooklyn Nets will be number 4. The only reason they're number 4 and they're not going to move is look, they haven't played in like 7 days. The last game they played, basically none of their starters played except Patty Mills. There's nothing to really take away. I can't really deduct the team from their spot. So until they actually play a game, I don't care what another team, unless they're winning 10 to 15 games in a row, this is the best team in the East and my number 4 team. You bring back the MVP, former front runner. I think that's Steph Curry now. Kevin Durant. You get Kyrie Irving for road games, so that's going to be interesting to watch. That first road game he plays. But apart from that, this is a very good team. They play good defense, and just need to get healthy.
So my number 4 team is the Jazz. They're obviously they're the third best. They're the closest team right now to 10 losses, and right now they're looking their last 5 games they're looking good. Only lost to the Spurs by 2, beat the Clippers by 21, and beat the other 3 other sorry teams by decent non-digits. And all they need, what they need to get their team together, you got to get their core 4 together. You got that core 4 together. You got Jordan Clarkson going off on the bench, Donovan Mitchell doing his thing, Mike Conley leading the charge. You got Rudy Gobert eating in the paint and blocking the paint at all times. That team is a force to be reckoned with. And the reason why they dropped to 4th instead of 3rd is I feel that the Nets have really been carrying their own weight, despite them being a one win less. Even though the Jazz were obviously had 1 win ahead of them, I favor the Nets because they're doing more. You got Kevin Durant playing like 38 minutes per game now. He hasn't done that in a minute. He doesn't know what 30 minutes per game looks like ever since he left OKC. So that's why I favored the Jazz, put the Jazz down to 4th instead of 3rd because they got people. They got everybody. The Nets, they don't got everybody, even though they look like they got everybody. So that's my number 4.
Okay, number 5, Milwaukee Bucks. They've had Giannis for about 3 or 4 games. Brooke Lopez has been out with the back injury, and that's allowed our guy DeMarcus Cousins, Boogie Cousins, to come in and showcase just what he can do this coming week. On Wednesday, he scored 18 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 assists. He then scored 22 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists against Dallas Mavericks on Thursday. So that was a back-to-back. He's played very well. I'm very happy that he's finally, I think, found a team that can really use his talent. And plus, they are a team who plays with a very slow kind of big in Brooke Lopez. So DeMarcus Cousins' ability, his inefficiencies on defense may not be as so bad or as detrimental as they were on like a Golden State or a Houston or a team, but they're playing well. And without Giannis, winning these games are important. And plus, since Brooke Lopez, I think Brooke Lopez may be out most of the year anyways with the back issue. So DeMarcus Cousins is going to get a lot of run, and this could be a true resurgence of his career. So Milwaukee Bucks number 5. I think they are truly the second best team in the East, just over my number 16.
So my number 5 team is the Chicago Bulls, right? And for what I see, they were firing all cylinders, even though they had a rough game against the Heat. You know, you have those highs and lows, and they're starting to bounce back, and they haven't played since Monday, so we're gonna see how they do when they play the Pacers and the Hawks. So and then they got to play the Hawks again. So those are going to be 3 interesting games to look out. But other than that, the Bulls are also coming all cylinders. They finally got something to work with in that team. And they haven't had that shit since Derrick Rose and like Luol Deng and Carlos Boozer and those guys. So it's really interesting to see how far they can come in this season.
So that is your number 5 team.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a second here. So my number 6 team is the Chicago Bulls. I do think they are the third best team. They have played very well this season. I think they really are somewhat of a surprise for me. I know they were getting, DeMar DeRozan, Lonzo Ball, Alex Caruso. I thought they'd be better, but I don't think they'll become the team they have become this season. They are second in the East right now because they have not played any games in a while, so their record, they've only lost 10 games, so they're in front. But DeMar DeRozan, interesting statistic for him. In 11 of his previous 12 seasons he's playing NBA, his team's point differentials were better when he was off the floor. But this year, the Bulls are plus 9.3 with him on the floor and a minus 7.4 with him off. What is that? That really shows you just how important some of these superstar players in the NBA is just look at their point differential on the season when they're in to where they're out. DeMar DeRozan is having the best year of his career because of that statistic right there to me. When you've had almost every year of your career, you're basically a team is better with you off the court, and you're probably their best player. That just shows you how low of an impact you really have on winning in terms of playmaking, defense, and even the team that does best offense. But he's having that impact this year. You got Caruso who continues to do what he does on defense. Lonzo Ball has really shown what the Lakers wanted all those years ago, but just never gave him the time to do because not everybody's, Luka or Trae Young or Jason Tatum, who just come out of the first year and already bona fide stars, becoming superstars. He needed time, and now that he's got 3-4 years, he's ready to hit his stride. DeMar DeRozan's averaging 26-4. He's played well. Zach LaVine's continue to score the points. And don't be surprised. I think it's going to be Brooklyn, Chicago. They're going to have multiple All-Stars, while Milwaukee will only have one.
So, oh my God. Okay. So number 6 is the Bucks. Let's see. And they coming alive now after they had a rough start. They're third in the conference. They They a little bit shaky, man. They has lost to the Pelicans and he lost to the Cavaliers, but they beat the Pacers and beat the Rockets. Now they finally got Giannis back.
They may get him back. They get him back maybe tomorrow.
Okay, so they haven't
It
had.
depends on. I read that it depends. It's his decision, so we'll see.
Oh, okay. So in that case, he hasn't been here to help them out, even though they had a rocky start. But they picking it back up, and what I see here, they should have an easy four maybe 5 game win streak by next week because they got the Celtics, they got the Bucks, they got the Magic twice, they got the Pelicans, and they got the Pistons. So if they lose any of those games, then I don't know what to tell you. But like I said, anything can happen. They should beat the Magic and the Pelicans and the Pistons, but you never know. So that's my number 6.
Okay, number 7 team, Cleveland Cavaliers. To me, the most impressive start to the first 32 games of the season. They're 19-13. They lost on Wednesday, their first double-digit loss in over a month to the Celtics by 10. This team is an incredibly awesome defense. If they have Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley on the floor together, they only allow 97.9 points per 100 possessions, which is literally incomprehensible in today's NBA. They essentially they're better than the Warriors. They're borderline juggernaut on defense. If there's Garland, because there's no Colin Sexton, he's pretty much their main offense. Everybody else is, not as good offensively. Evan Mobley is probably their second best creator outside of him, but it's really Darius Garland, who now looks like a very good draft pick they got. Remember, he got injured his only year in Vanderbilt, but has showcased his ability to score and run an offense in the NBA, and I'm very, very proud of him. And also, I'm proud of the Cavaliers. They've went through what I call the 5-year rebuild. They're in that 4th to 5th year where they're ready to start competing for playoff berths, and they are right on track. And I love to see that. So I have to give them props. My number 7 team, the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Well, my number 17 is the Miami Heat. They last week they was up on my list. They was, let's see here. They was oh no, I didn't put them on my list. I guess that's the reason. There's a reason why I did it. Well, my reason is basically simple. Even though they've been very inconsistent and they've been very inconsistent. They win and they lose and they start winning and then they lose. They're very like inconsistent right now, and they got the Magic once again. So I mean, Jimmy Butler, he's been very very quiet this season, man. I haven't heard too much from him.
He
So
was injured. He has a tailbone issue.
okay, well, I get that. We'll get it. That explains it, but he gets back from the injury. Hopefully, he can ignite that spark that everybody says that he got whenever he's on the team. So that's my number 7.
Okay. My number hold on, or my also did I give my number 7 already, right? Yeah. Okay. My number 8 team is the Memphis Grizzlies. And I just want to say something here is that the Grizzlies are now 9-12 when Morant plays and 10-2 when he doesn't. Now that doesn't make any sense. But I'll give you a statistic that shows you maybe why the Grizzlies are just so bad. Basically, they're a bottom team with him on. That's because they're allowing 117 points per 100 possessions. Do you understand that's worse than the Rockets? That's actually worse than the Rockets, who are, I think,
And then
around
they're fourth seed, which is the funny part.
yeah, because they won 10 of 12 without him since that injury. And with him off the floor, they are a far better defense. So clearly the number one thing is they're going to have to figure out how to play defense with him on the floor because they're not going to do anything with him playing if they're going to be that bad offensively. We saw last night against the Warriors. They allowed again another 115 plus points, while the Warriors held them to right over 100. He didn't play well, and he wasn't a great defensive player. Steph Curry continued to do his thing, and Gary Payton III is more than willing to shoot the threes, which I'd like to see. Right now, we're gonna have to figure out what the Memphis Grizzlies are going to do because they're going to be in. They're probably going to have a home playoff series this year with the way the West is looking, with basically 3 teams in their own stratosphere and everybody else in the same boat. And you're going to need John Morant to win those playoff series. Let's not lie. If they want to make it far, John Morant needs to be there. But you can't allow 117 points per 100 possessions. That's insane. That's literally insane. You cannot allow that to happen. But they are my number 8 team. They've played well without him. I'm just believing it's growing pains. They have been away from him for a while. The offense changed. Everybody's roles change. And they were playing better with him off the floor against the Warriors. So there you go, my number 8 team.
It's my number 8 team is the Cavs. I mean, they've been firing all cylinders, looking great over the past 2 weeks, and it's like I said before, they have shocked me, and I wouldn't be surprised if they had if they went ahead. Now in the playoffs, they probably get their ass spanked by let's see who can. So they could possibly get the ass spanked by the Heat. But right now, the Heat and the Cavs were to face off. I put my money on the Cavs to win because it's like I said, they're if you look at if you look at the games, they already beat the Heat before. They're beating they beat the top team. They lost to the Jazz by 1. They're beating the Timberwolves, the Kings. They beat the Heat that time on the 13th. They destroyed the Rockets. They beat the Bucks. So this team is more than capable of really doing something in the playoffs if they are playing if they still have this type of record back then not back then they still have this type of record coming during the playoff time. That's my number 18.
Okay. My number 9 team, I would say, would be the Miami Heat. Miami Heat have, they've struggled without Butler, and Alibaba has been gone for weeks with a wrist surgery, so that's why nobody's really heard about him. But I will say this: they have stayed competitive, and they've beaten some decent teams during that time. But the most important contributor that's allowed them to play as well is Max Strus, a guy you probably didn't know. He's averaged 25 points and shooting 46%, 0.7% from 3 over the last 4 games. This is a big part. A thing that you always like to see when guys go out, who shows up, because he could be a guy who moves into rotation. I mean, you cannot ignore what's happening. I mean, yes, would they have done this if they were there? No. But sometimes in loss, you find a positive, and he's been the positive. Obviously, Kyle Lowry had to basically increase his usage percentage, which has made his numbers all better. He doesn't have to do that with this team. That's why he went to his team. But Max Strus, to me, big part of the reason why they've been good. I've really enjoyed watching them play. I saw Caleb Martin was on this team. Cody Martin's on this team. He had a big game. So the Heat are finding out some new pieces for them to play throughout the season. Maybe so they don't have to play so much Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. And also, these guys continue to showcase themselves well in the regular season. You may get blessed with a playoff rotation, which is the quintessential pinnacle of the NBA life for anybody that's not a superstar, is being in the playoff rotation, because that means your team, your coach, your players, your staff believe that you give them the best chance for a championship. So I give the Heat number 9. They've done well, staying competitive, and they're 20-13. Gotta give them credit.
My number 9 team is the Memphis Grizzlies. Well, I mean, what can I say? I mean, you kind of really said it all. I mean, even though that I mean, they lost to the Thunder. They lost to the Blazers. They lost to the Warriors, and they're already on the 3-game losing streak. And they beat the Blazers. So I mean, even though they've been giving up a lot of points over the course, like the games that John Morant hasn't showed up, it's shocking that they are number fourth in the conference. But time could run out for this team, even though they're right up there. Because last year he wasn't up there. He wasn't back in the play-in side. So things could look differently when it's time for playoffs.
Yes. So my number 10 team, I will say this is very hard because you got Atlanta, you've got the Clippers, you've got Celtics, you got the 76ers. But I will say this. I'm going to give it to the I'm going to give it to these Sixers. I think Sixers are the best team of these guys. Now, the Sixers, they did lose to the Hawks with no Trey Young. That's not great, but Joel Embiid was off his game. The 76ers are 10-4 when he shoots 40% better from the field, but they're 6-12 in all other games, which means they need him to play well. Obviously, Ben Simmons, him not being there, I'm not going to use that anymore. They do really need Tobias Harris to play well. He shot 0 of 6 from deep against Atlanta. He's only shooting just over 30%, which is horrendous for a guy getting paid max money and the guy who's having the usage he needs. They need to play better. Their net rating is negative. Never. That's why they're not a contending team. When you have a negative net rating, not great. But I gotta give it to somebody. And from those teams, they're probably the team I can see doing something. But the other 9 teams are truly the easiest teams in the league to say, hey, these are the top 9 guys. Number 10 is you can pick who you want because all those teams at 10 are 500 teams and there's nobody good.
Well, which one of the teams that you said?
So I say it's on the Sixers, the Celtics, the Clippers, the Hawks, you know,
Oh, okay.
like
So the
you could put
500 teams are under.
Timberwolves.
Mm,
Because all those, if you look at all those teams I just named, are basically either a game over 500 or a game under 2 games under 500. They're all the
I mean,
same team.
I pick the Celtics. I'd say the Celtics, man. They've been so underwhelming this season. I would think that they would have that they were a top 16, but what I've been seeing is that they just can't get it together. The same thing with the Sixers. They just can't get it together right now. So, and the fact that they're both equal at 16 apiece is kind of shocking because I would think that they would at least be like top 5, but they're just not because on the one hand you have Joel Embiid and no Ben Simmons. That's already a problem. On the other hand, you got Jason Tatum, you got Jalen Brown, and then you had Kemba Walker, and then now he's gone. And even with Kemba Walker there, they was just having problems. And then you have Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum there. One of them's gone, and then the other one just is not consistently playing well. So when those factors are clashing and coming together, it's kind of hard for you to succeed. So so I'm picking the Celtics to be my number 10 because I thought they was going to be like top 5, not not top 10, not just
Well,
not just shy of top 10.
they've been kind of an average team for 2 years now. I remember last year we were all everybody was talking about, man, they're at the bottom. They're a playing team. That's what they really are right now. They're a 7 to 8 seed playing team because that's how we classify those teams now, which I like because truly the top 6 teams are actually good and the bottom 2 are essentially 500 teams. So I actually do enjoy the play in because it really puts a difference between teams more than not. So like the Knicks are a playing team right now. are a playing level, and the Celtics are too. They've been kind of this way for a while now. 500 team, they're under. They have trouble playing defense. Jason Tatum likes to take like super difficult shots because that's what he does. They don't. Their defense isn't elite by any which way. They do nothing elite. They don't shoot the ball elite. They don't defend elite. Their free throw percentage is not elite. There's nothing. Their net ratings is not great, obviously, because they're have a 500 team. They're just an okay team. They're an okay team, which is where playing is. Unlike the Lakers, who are just bad, but they're bad. But since they have stars, they can sometimes overcome being really bad. But yeah, I agree with you. The Celtics are a top 10 team, but they're at the bottom. They're with the team I picked. The who did I picked the what was it? Oh, the 76ers. I mean, I can't say the Clippers, but 2 games over 500, not big that big of a difference. I do, Minnesota. I've been impressed with Minnesota. They're in the play-in right now, which is good for them. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, that's our NBA Power Rankings for this week. If you guys enjoyed those, please leave a like, and we'll be back again next week with our next edition. And hopefully by then, teams will have their players back from the virus, and people have gotten those antibodies, so we can get back to some basketball.
And real quick though, I would say that do you think that Roman Reigns can beat Brock Lesnar's all-time Universal title reign record?
Well, with the way it's going, it sure looks like he will. If have they really put somebody there who they will give a chance to beat him? It just really seems to be, hey, um, we're going to make him the champion. Who's even gone close to try and beat the guy?
I
Nobody.
mean, there was like Edge, Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens numerous times.
Yeah, look at that. Daniel Bryan left. Kevin Owens is doing whatever on the Raw. The other guy, Edge, I knew Edge would never win, but they gave him another chance.
He's the only
Yeah,
guy to win the Rumble multiple times and fumble the bag, literally.
honestly, I don't know. I don't even know why they even gave him the shit. That's just my problem. I mean, who is really going to beat this guy? Brock Lesnar? Is Brock Lesnar going to be the one that eventually beats him? Is that what they're going for? I don't know. It's
I mean,
very it really
it
hurts
lines
the
up
team.
perfectly because Brock Lesnar is the one that has the longest Universal title reign at 504 days, and Roman is just creeping up to that number. So if he beats him next week, then he will have the longest reign as Universal Champion of all time.
Hmm. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna happen. They haven't shown me anything that said they're gonna let him lose to anybody. They've been pretty much, hey, you're gonna win every match. That's just me.
I was that's all I'm thinking that my one side of me says that I want Brock to win because Roman he's beating everybody. Who else is there for him to beat?
That's
He's
what I'm
beat.
saying. Who is there for? Yeah, like there's no one there for him else to beat him. He's beating everybody, and nobody's came anywhere near close. And Brock Lesnar is our last hope for anybody I think to beat him because if he doesn't beat him, then I don't know who is going to at all. I just just really seems to be, hey, he's gonna win every single freaking time. That's our thing, and nothing against him, but with it, we're gonna have to watch a little bit because SmackDown's gonna start, so we're gonna get out of here. But
So
I would love for him to lose that one. It's one day a pay per view
day
for
one,
everybody, right?
yeah, day one is
Day
a
one,
whole
sorry.
yeah, day one's a whole pay per view on January 1st.
Yeah, it's a pay per view for both brands, correct?
Yeah,
Okay. I remember they used to do that singular brand
yeah,
stuff, and
they
they
used
brought
to
that
do that.
back too. I remember that
Yeah, they
they
used to do
stopped
that,
it,
but
and then they brought it back, and they stopped it again because it just made no sense.
I mean,
But
they basically bring it back and stop it. That's
yeah,
really
I just think they should just leave it alone. I think you're better off just having multiple, just having them all at the same thing and whatever. But yeah, man, we'll see what happens this week. They Brock Lesnar, I guess he's getting Paul Heyman back because he shipped him to the curb.
Or it could be a whole little ploy thinking that, oh, I'm not messing with Heyman no more. And then you go to Brock and then you screw him over and then you help me. That could happen also.
That's true. That could happen too. That could happen too. So yeah, man. I guess that's it for us. Is there anything else?
No, that's it for me.
Okay, that's it for me as well. Hope you guys have enjoyed the podcast. It was a great discussion about the teams and even a little bit of discussion about what we think is probably going to happen with Roman Reigns. If you guys enjoy the podcast, please leave a like, comment, rate, and subscribe. Hit that down button, show more button that's going to show all the links and everything here. And please stay safe out there and enjoy your weekend to the fullest extent.
And we out of here.